Crucial conversations. Comedic Minds. Put them both together and what do you get? The most productive and impactful smack talking session ever. Now let's put our minds together.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? It's Ivanna. We are back here with Comedic Minds. So we just had a little bit of a late start, but thanks, y'all, for hanging in there with us. I am joined today with some amazing guests, y'all. It's going to be like a women in comedy night today. We're going to have some good laughs, so thanks, y'all, for checking in with us. Also, just really quickly, I just want to let y'all know the Comedic Minds live comedy show is going to be this Thursday at 7:30 p.m. at Sal's Comedy Hall on Melrose, y'all. $10 tickets can be purchased on Eventbrite or at the door. Who's Next competitors will be hitting the stage for the last time, and our celebrity judge, Hope Flood, and audience will be deciding who wins the $500 cash prize, y'all. And it's the holidays, so
$500.
okay.
$500.
The headliner is Boogie B, and the featured performer is going to be George K. Burns. You don't want to miss this one, okay, y'all? So our last live show was with Flame Monroe, and it was everything, y'all. So shout out to Flame. Flame, thank you so much for coming, y'all. And without further ado, y'all, I just want to introduce tonight's guest. We have with us Hope Flood, legend and veteran comedian. She is an actress and executive known for Baby Boy, Comic Groove, Reach Around the Radio, Apollo Night LA, Def Comedy Jam. I mean, it goes on and on and on and on and on. But thank you so much for coming in here this evening and meeting with us.
Me.
No, this is super dope. And also we have Miss Wynter Spears, comedian, actor, singer from Chicago. I just read too that you participated in over 40 musicals.
Yes.
I like to say musical geek, like musical nerd, because that's me too.
Yes, I got my degree in musical theater.
I love it.
I got my degree in musical theater from the University of the Arts in Philadelphia.
That is amazing.
Yeah. Awesome.
So the Laugh Factory Long Beach, and you were a part of the Jason Stewart and Friends show.
I was.
Jason. You've also
He's
performed,
amazing.
at the world famous Comedy Store Belly Room in Hollywood Improv.
I actually just did. I'm telling everyone in case I don't do anything cool ever again.
Okay.
I just did Dynasty Typewriter with Jackie Cation.
How was it?
It was amazing. I got to go on before Zach Galifianakis. He said I was funny. I was so excited. I was like, guys, if I never do anything else cool, Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah,
but it was a great show. Like Jackie Cation, Kira Sultanovich, Janelle James, who's writing for Black Dynamite, Virginia Jones, and me. And Laurie Kilmartin as well. Okay. So yeah, it was a great show. It was amazing. It was so much fun. Dynasty Typewriter.
Where is that?
Dynasty Typewriter. It's a new venue. It's on Wilshire. It's right by MacArthur Park, and it's only been open for like a year and a half, 2 years. But like a lot of great people have come through.
Go there.
So yeah, it's an amazing venue, and it's a theater venue, so it's really cool. It's fun. It's super fun.
Do a show there.
Yes,
Me
you do,
too.
because it's amazing. It's so fun.
as hell.
It's so fun.
So I definitely want to get into it because before we started the show, we've been having some really dope conversation. And I'm just going to dive right into it. Most folks remember a time when they were like discriminated against. Like just recently, Flame Monroe had just spoken up about Monique had kind of barred her from getting a job back in the day because she didn't agree with her lifestyle. And I just want to know with you all, have you all had any other bias with dealing in this industry against like just with you being a black woman or dealing with misogyny and things like that?
If there are things that have happened, they were probably behind the scenes. I don't know that I would be high enough on the totem pole to find out about it. I will say that there was a comedian who wanted, she was going to Chicago, and she's someone that I've worked with before. I just don't want to say her name because I'm not putting anybody on blast because I was like, I said, she's going to Chicago. I said, I have friends and family in Chicago. I could easily bring a lot of people to the show. She's like, of course. She's like, I would love to have you. She goes to the comedy club and she says, I want to bring Wynter with me. And they're like, we can just get you somebody here. She's like, but no, I want to bring Wynter with me. And they were like, we'll just find you somebody here. And she's like, I don't know. She's like, and that could have everything to do with the fact that I'm not a man. Because when men bring people, they just say, I'm bringing so-and-so.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
Crew.
They'll bring whoever, and they never question it. She said, she's like, I feel like maybe my mistake was I asked as opposed to telling, because as women, that's what we do. We don't say, this is what I'm doing. We say, is it okay if? So she was like, she's like, I'm really sorry because I really wanted you to come with me. I was like, I was like, you didn't even have to ask. They don't know who I am. They don't know what I can do. So that's not, but that's something that just recently happened. But again, I don't know if it was because she's a woman. I don't know if it was because because I'm a woman. I don't know if it's because I'm a black woman. I don't even know that they knew who I was. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me to say in that particular scenario because I don't have a name necessarily that people would know because I haven't been doing it for that long. Because it could just be, oh, we don't know that person. Maybe she can't bring anybody.
Hope, what about you? I know you're a veteran in the game, so what?
Yeah, if I had a dick and two balls, I'd probably be further in this business. I'm going to stay on that subject.
How do y'all deal with like gender bias in the industry? Because I've dealt with like anywhere from managers to other comedians thinking that they can talk to me dumb as fuck, and it's like this is what you're not finna do. So for me, the best way that I've learned to deal with that is like I'll create like some material around that, and then just try to work that out, and then that's the best way that I can get that out. But what do y'all do? Like, what are your preferences?
Well, I feel like first, let me say that I feel like I've been really fortunate in that I've been. The people that have embraced me and that I've surrounded myself with have been amazing. Jason Stewart was one of the first people to ever put me on stage. He had never seen me do stand-up. I had talked, he and I had become friends. We'd talked in his living room. We'd hung out.
That's cool.
But he'd never seen me do. I was like, because I went to see him do a show at Laugh Factory Long Beach. And he's like, oh, I want you to do 5 minutes. And I was like, Jason, you've never seen me do stand-up? He's like, oh, you were funny in my living room. It's fine. And I was like, okay, and it went well, and it was great, and that was amazing to have somebody be like, no, I'm sure you'll be fine, and it was great, and it went really well. So let me say that I have been really fortunate for the people who have seen what I do and like what I do and say, oh, I want you to come do my show. But it's one of those things where I try to gravitate toward the people who like what I do, because everybody's not going to like what you do. Everybody's not going to think what you do is funny or interesting or whatever. And we've all heard the comedians who think that only men are funny or whatever that madness is. So what has been my saving grace has been always surround myself with people who think you're funny, people who believe in what you're doing. And that is what it has propelled me forward. And so I try not to focus on who's not giving me, who's not, because it's not about fair and it's not about it's not about what other people think about what you can do. It's about what you think you can do. And when there are people who agree with you and who are like, yeah, I'm in it with you, then those are the people that you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
If I had a dick and two balls.
She's like, I'm just going to go back to my dick and two balls.
I mean, what can I say? I started the whole boycott. I've always put women on shows way before everybody else is now doing it. I've been the first person to advocate for female comedians and for us to stand our ground, for us to be respected, for us to carry ourselves in a way, because we have to be extra than the men. The men can come on stage, they can have a beat up t-shirt on and dirty jeans and they still going to be funny. Whereas us, we got to make sure our makeup is done. We got to make sure our hair is done. We have to make sure we're extra funny. We have to be on time. We can't be a bitch or whatever, because that's what they say about us. So we have to dispel all of those myths and things like that. So we have to work a lot harder. We got the kids sometimes we have to deal with and family issues and things like that.
I don't know how people do it with kids. I don't know. I don't know how people do it with kids, because I was listening to...
It's a miracle.
It's amazing, because I was listening to Ida Rodriguez came to my show on Tuesday night. I do a regular Tuesday night show at Flappers in Burbank. And she came to my Tuesday night show because she was working on a TV set. And she's always been lovely and amazing and wonderful to me. When I first started and nobody knew who I was, she was amazing and continues to be wonderful to me. Yes. And she was telling me, I've been working and I have to get this set together. And I was like, and then I saw the thing that she did on Instagram when she was talking about doing the Netflix special, and how when she was first starting out and she had 2 kids and she got evicted and then her car got repossessed. And then I was like, oh my God, how did she even... So when I start to think about the things that I complain about or the things that I'm upset about or whatever, I was like, well, at least I'm not doing this with 2 kids. Yeah. Because I don't know how I would do it. I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people do it.
Well, I just have one son. I have dragged him through this whole business. Okay. And everything. He's 32 now, but he's still,
Did you have support as well?
No, not like I could have. And if I had had support, I probably would have did a lot more. I've been able to do a lot more. I can only go for so long. Kids fear abandonment, and so I could go for about 10 days, and he started acting up in school. I would have to come home, and I had to sit him down one day. I said, if Mama has to go get a job, me and you ain't gonna be happy in this bitch, okay?
act right.
Yeah.
No,
If I got to sit down and go get a job with 2 breaks and a lunch or whatever the fuck that is, we're not going to be happy in this bitch. And he straightened right up and everything. But and so he's an amazing rapper, and he gets it. He's got 2 kids. I'm a grandma. He got 2 kids of his own. So he understands the stuff. But, you know, I was determined to do what I love to do regardless. Nobody was going to stop me from doing that. But there were a lot of things I could not do because, you know, coming from being molested in your own family, you know, I just felt like I had to, my job is to protect my son.
Of course.
That's my fucking job. My only job is to protect my family. And so there was certain things I couldn't do because I just wasn't leaving him with anybody to do anything to him personally or anything like that. So I can say that, you know, with all that sacrificing and being able to just do what I love to do, but not really doing it a lot because I had to raise my son. You know, he's not on drugs. He's not in a gang. He's never been to jail. Well, he's done some things, but he's never been to jail. Like his dad did 20 years in the California State Penitentiary, and he's told his children, I didn't done enough time for all of y'all. I didn't done enough drugs for all of y'all. Okay, you don't have to go out and experience none of these things. And he's an amazing son, and that's the one I kept is the best one. The best one.
And speaking of, because I know you were saying, you know, putting women on and women really having to fight for themselves. We've read recently in the news, like Monique is actually suing Netflix. And I mean, regardless of whether you stand on that space, I do kind of just want to know, I mean, what were your thoughts? I do feel like sometimes in order to get somewhere, you kind of have to like sue that company. You kind of have to like sue your way through so people can understand that you're not playing. And
but
I just
sue
want to
them.
know.
What is the basis on her suing them? What is her criteria? What is she saying? 'Cause I haven't read it because you know.
Yeah, no, so it's based on being discriminated against.
How
because
is that?
they were
discriminated against how?
Because she was offered something lower than what other comedians were offered.
All you have to do is just say no. But why not go in there, prove them wrong, do the special, take the money? And I'm saying that, and Mo called me. I have a voicemail with her right on it right now, and I haven't returned it yet because I don't know what her mind space is because I've been, you know, doing some interviews and things like that. I just finished a big interview at Comedy for Comedy Hype, and I mentioned her, but it wasn't in a negative way because I fucks with Mo and I rides with her on what she does. But what happens is a lot of time, again, I go back to us being better, looking better, doing better, and everything. It reflects on all of us. And then it's harder for us to walk through these doors, you know. But I know that somebody has to be the martyr. Somebody has to stand up. We wouldn't have freedom if it wasn't for Harriet Tubman. We wouldn't have this if it wasn't for Martin and Malcolm and Medgar and Marvin and Marcus and all of them. You know, whatever. I get it. But, you know, you just have to be specific on what it is. What are you suing them for? Discrimination because they offered DL something more than they offered. They'll never put that type of money in a woman's hands. You could forget it and stuff. Tiffany is just one of the luckiest at it ever, you know, and she ended up spreading the love around when she did the They Ready and stuff. And she gave those girls way more. She took a pay cut so they could have because she gets it and she understands. So when you are suing somebody and you're asking us to get on board, what are we getting on board for? Are we getting on board for your personal gain or for the better use of the whole culture for all of us? And what is it for? Because at the end of the day, you're not a Colin Kaepernick. We've done that, even though I don't agree with the way he did it. And I'm not saying don't fight for what you feel like you deserve or whatever. I'm not saying that, you know, but don't ask me to come along for the ride if I can't benefit from it. And how am I going to benefit from it? Because it just makes us look like catty, big black bitches to me, you know, a lot of times and stuff. And I fought these fights and stuff or whatever. And sometimes you just have to be quiet. Go in there and prove them wrong. Go in there and get the money. Prove them wrong. What is it that you feel like you deserve? I'm not saying you're not on the level of those other comedians and stuff, but you don't get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate.
What are your thoughts on that, Wynter, about her suing Netflix?
It's one of those things that I would never try to say what someone else should do with their career because I can't say. I haven't walked in her shoes. I haven't done the work that she's done. I haven't won an Oscar. So I can't for any reason say what Monique should or shouldn't do. That is not my business. It's my business to do my work and to make sure that when I'm given opportunities that I take advantage of those, and that if I can help somebody else that I do, but I would never try to denigrate anything that she does, because she has walked a path that I have not walked. And a lot of the times the path that I do get to walk, I've walked because of women like her. So I would never denigrate her.
I think for me as a...
Let me clarify. I'm
go ahead.
not denigrating her. I'm stating my opinion and stuff. So like I said, I agree with you. I was down with Monique. Me and Lunel were the only people that ever called it when she was going up against Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey and who is the other one? Lee Daniels and stuff. We're the only people, and she says that on a podcast. We're the only ones reached out and said, we ride with you, we fucks with you and stuff on it. But the whole point is that sometimes just stand down sometimes. And I'm learning that because I can say it because I have been that person. I have been at the forefront, and it comes with a price. It comes with such a big price. And some of the things that I fought for and I stood for, I'm wondering if I should have, because the people I was standing with, something got dangled in front of them and they went and took it from the same person that they were fighting against. And I was left as the fall guy. I'm left holding the bag. And now this person's on TV every day making $2-3 million a year when I stood with you and everything. And at least if you're going to take it, at least say back, look, Hope, they didn't offer me some shit or whatever like that. And I'm going to take it. And you know, you can come with me or you can stay there, but just don't leave me holding the bag. So I'm just sick of people asking me to champion and be a part of their cause. And then when something, they either get what they're looking for or they dangle something, comparative for them, then they abandon ship, and then I'm left as the fall guy or whatever. So that's what I'm saying. So I don't think that it's saying that we're what is the word, degenerating her?
Oh, denigrate?
Denigrating her or anything like that, because that's not what it is. Monique is my friend. We've been friends for a long time. The conversation that we will have will be that of, okay, what is the agenda? What is the goal? What is the plan? So if I know clearly what it is you're trying to do, then maybe I can be on board with it. Is it going to benefit us as female comedians, or is it going to hurt us as female comedians? And that's what I would want to know.
So I think for what I could say is, as my hope is as a young comedian, is that it will kind of like pave a way for us. I feel like at this moment, it's kind of more of, it is a civil rights issue for Black women to be paid fairly. And I think that is ultimately what my issue is with this. But I just feel like a lot of people are kind of also operating in fear, and they're just, because Netflix is a huge company, and this is a Black woman like Monique, who people have had issues with her because of her image, because of she is a Black woman, and people think that she's too loud. And I feel like it is very, very brave and bold to go against a company like Netflix. So my hope is just that it does pave a way and something does come from this, but I don't know. You know, I also don't have a friendship with Monique. I don't know her in that way, but that's just, like I said, my hope for that. So, I mean, we'll see, but I don't know. But thanks for sharing that
I think that somebody has to.
Can we turn the air back on?
I think that somebody has to at least cut it down a bit and stuff or whatever. It don't have to be that high.
I didn't think it's on at all.
I think that it was earlier and stuff or whatever. I think that also too, somebody, it's like Harriet Tubman said, I could have freed them all had they only known they were slaves and everything. So I get it. I'm that person. I've been the Monique way before Monique was fighting these causes and stuff. I have been the one to stand up for BET. I have been the one to say we need to be treated better. I have done that, but I'm telling you, it comes with a price. Yeah. And are you willing to pay this price? Because it could work for you or it could work against you, where people see that you're difficult and never want to work you again. Or it can see that, and then
that could very well be a thing, because she was blacklisted before, right?
I don't know if she was per se blacklisted, but I think she was pegged as difficult to work with.
For
and
sure.
I guess, and then they think we're all like that. Any female comedian Black that is loud on stage or very sure of themselves, we all get lumped in the same category as, she might be like Monique, or she might be like Cheryl Underwood, or she might be like Lunel or whatever. And you don't know me personally. My stage persona is not who I am personally.
For sure.
That is just what I do. It's not, doesn't define who I am. It's like Beyonce saying she's Sasha Fierce and stuff, and then she's somebody else when she's off stage, whatever. So I think you do have to separate.
It's really hard for people to separate.
me being a comedian is what I do. It ain't who I am.
Exactly.
I'm just naturally funny, but it ain't. I'm not on all day. I ain't cracking jokes all goddamn
Not all day.
I'm
not
actually
loud
a
going
very
to the
serious
grocery
person.
store.
That's
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know
I'm
who
actually
can do
an
that. It's
introvert
exhausting.
too.
Yeah. Right.
I'm a loner.
So am I.
Yes,
So am I. So
smoke
am
a
I.
blunt by myself.
Yeah,
like it's very people.
But I think it's one of those things that when you are, and that was something that was difficult for me to sort of wrap my brain around when I first started doing stand-up, because when you're an actor, you have a green room, you sit back there, you get your head together, and then you go out and do what you do. When you're a comedian, you're on as soon as you get there, and you're not off until you leave. So you're when you get there, you're talking to people. I host a lot, so I'm getting intros. I'm making sure all the comedians are there. Is there a drop-in? Is Whitney Cummings coming by? Who's coming by? Who's dropping in? Are they doing 5? Are they doing 10? Like all this stuff that you have to do whenever you are the person who's hosting. Those are the kinds of things that you have to look out for. So you are constantly on for the entire time that you're there, and that's exhausting. And I think people don't realize that, and they don't understand. And the difference between doing a 5-minute set and a 20-minute set is night and day. And the difference because you are on there, and it's all about you. It's 20 minutes, it's an hour, whatever you're doing, that's all about you. And that takes a lot out of you. And I think people think because it looks easy that it is easy, and it's not.
No,
it is not in
it's
any
a lot
way.
to expel.
I
that type
literally
of energy.
just started headlining this summer, and here headlining is 15 minutes, 20 minutes. If you're not doing it in a club, it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. It might be 30 minutes. But that is the way that you sort of work your way up to a half an hour. And the only way you can do that is by getting more stage time. That's the only way you can do it. And the difference between doing a 5-minute set and a 20-minute set is night and day.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What are, because I remember you were talking about, bringing on some female comedians, and I feel like I'm seeing more female comedians just like I'm seeing more female rappers, and I love what I'm seeing. I love the representation. I love the wordplay. I love just seeing women who are coming from different regions across the country, and just seeing how they create their art and how they present it to us, and it's a beautiful thing to experience right now. So who are some female comedians that y'all like? Who do you think is up next right now?
Her name is Hope Flood. You're sitting right in here in between her. How about that?
Okay, then.
Ooh.
Ain't nobody else clapping when you clap for your damn self.
There you go. Okay, I hear you. Right?
I got next, okay?
Okay.
In my ludicrous voice, y'all better count me in,
Okay.
But my girl Lunell is killing it right now. She has a residency on Sundays at the Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club in Vegas.
Nice. That's
Dolomite.
amazing.
She's in the new Coming to America.
Dolomite was so
funny. Wasn't it so inspiring?
Please
it was so
watch Dolomite, y'all. If you haven't seen it on
so inspired. And I work with Rudy so many times and everything, and he's so amazing, and he owned all. I think he's probably the one after Ray Charles. He owned all of those movies.
Wow.
He had all that stuff in warehouses and stuff. He would take all this stuff. He's the one taught me about having merchandise. Rudy would have a table like this with all kind of shit on it, back scratchers, rocks and stuff. Just something because people just want a piece of you, whatever it is. He would just sign it. He'd have a back scratcher with Rudy Ray Moore, and he'd sign it, and people would get it and look at it. Now they have a piece of Rudy.
Do you have merch?
Oh yeah, I sell everything but pussy. Okay.
Okay.
You said
all right.
Hey,
you can curse. Yeah, I started this thing off with saying fuck.
I sell more cannabis products than anything. I'm in the cannabis business. Y'all can look up my site. It's highhopes.biz.
Yes, High Hopes.
Yeah, so I medicate and infuse any and everything. I'm high now. Okay.
Okay. What'd you smoke on before you came in here?
I do more edibles.
Okay, what's your edible?
Stuff. I have every edible. I have right now. What do I have in the car? I got
What'd you pop
cookies,
before you came
brownies.
in?
I got gummies. I do a lot of gummies. I do a lot of vaping. A lot of gummies. I have juice. I do. But cookies, brownies, I make amazing puff corn. I Cheez-Its and all kinds, anything in the future.
I'm gonna have to try it. You should have told her so that I could try it.
I have it in the car. I'll give you some.
I am a huge I call myself a cannabis connoisseur. I love everything about cannabis, like a canna nerd.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a whole care package.
Oh, look at you!
You can try everything.
She's getting free stuff, guys. She's getting free stuff.
I got something very special. I know you've never had before.
Oh my god!
You know what it is? I made it today on Facebook Live. My cousin came in August. He's from Little Rock, and he went back to Little Rock, and he killed a hog for me. Oh, and I sent him some cannabis-infused brown sugar, and he put it on the hog and cured it for 2 months. So I have cannabis weed bacon.
Yes.
In my purse.
Yeah,
Right?
in her purse right now. She got
Cannabis
cannabis
bacon. And sauce.
She
Bacon,
brought
sausage,
in her
I
purse
tried it.
right now.
She
purse
brought
I love
cannabis bacon
because I
with
love
her.
weed, and I'm also
With her.
I'm from Dallas. I'm from the
Oh,
South,
okay.
so I love pork and all that.
Yeah,
Bacon,
yeah,
that's my
bacon. I'll
shit.
give
So,
you some
oh
bacon.
my
Cannabis
God.
bacon, and then we did sausage from the hog, and so I make everything. I'm making my next thing I'm making is cannabis and alcohol infused popcorn. So you can get high and drunk at the same damn time.
I love it. I love it. Innovative. Also.
Innovative,
okay?
innovative,
like,
guys.
What? I can't.
Innovative.
I can't.
So I sell merchandise. I don't do T-shirts. I do T-shirts and stuff. I just got tired of carrying all that stuff around. And then let's see what else I used to do. I used to do something very simple. I used to do a poem at the end of my act called "Sisters Got Your Back," and it was for a black
I
woman.
like that.
And I used to put it on beautiful paper and stuff, and I would recite the poem, and women would want it, and I would sign it at the end. I would sell it for $5. People were like, "I cannot believe you over there selling poems." So I'm like, I'm selling everything. I'm telling y'all, I've sold purses and jewelry and sunglasses and everything. One time I did a show with Earthquake, who I was with today, one of my best friends, and they were there trying to push their little CDs and DVDs, and wasn't nobody buying it. Everybody were at my booth because I had a spread of shit.
Oh.
And he's like, "What you got?" I said, "I have what they want." Okay. Him and his road manager bought 3 purses apiece. And stuff.
Oh my God.
What they want.
Yeah, which is
my
women want real stuff. You can get. I would like you buy this, I'll give you a CD or DVD, or something. So I would
Hey,
give that away and stuff.
I like
so
that.
yeah. So we've sold headshots before, T-shirts. Like this is my comedy convention T-shirt that we do every year. So you need something to sell. People want a piece of you.
That's cute. So I want to get into y'all's work and some of your jokes and everything. So I want to hear, what is your favorite joke that you've told? Or it can either be your favorite or maybe like a joke from one of your favorite comedians. But I want to know, what is a favorite of yours?
Oh God.
Please. Please share.
A favorite joke.
No, take your time.
Well, I don't know if it's my favorite joke, but it's the first joke I ever wrote.
Okay.
And my name is Wynter Spears. I spell Winter with a Y, not because I'm pretentious, but because my mother is. My last name is Spears, like Britney.
Yeah.
The Britney is silent.
Okay.
That's the first joke I ever wrote.
First joke I
ever wrote.
I'm too high to get it, but I like it.
She said,
I like it.
I like it. Maybe when you watch it back, what about you?
What are my favorite jokes? Oh God.
Or something that people always love, something that always hits. I want to hear it.
I do the Zodiacs. I put that on TV, especially because
What is that?
I just go through all the Zodiacs and I talk about the Zodiacs and the different signs.
Ooh, I'm
and
a
stuff
Virgo.
Like that. Yeah, you're cheap.
Roast.
It's-
I am.
I'm a Capricorn.
Yeah, hustler.
Talk too
Always
much.
hustling.
Taurus.
Slow, lazy, stubborn asses.
Wow.
Stubborn as fuck.
Wow.
Or whatever. So I do that.
Mine was positive, guys. It was positive.
Right.
I'm a
But you
hustler.
sneaky too.
Well, that's
you're
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Sneaky. Y'all really
You're not
sneaky.
wrong. You're not wrong.
So I do the Zodiacs, and then I have so many jokes. I have hours of material. I had lines, so I have a lot of material and stuff. One of my favorite new jokes is about me and I'm 53.
Yeah.
So in February, I had to have surgery. I had to get me a new pussy, and
okay.
I got all kind of shit in my new pussy.
Is that what's coming? Is that what's coming?
Yeah, that's what's coming.
My God, that's what's coming.
My transmission was leaking, my check engine light
Yeah.
was on, and all that kind of stuff. So, and so that's one, and it can relate to women that are older, because that's what happens to women when they get older. Gravity your stuff just starts falling down and falling out and everything. So it's relatable. I talk about being old and older, kids, relationships. I was the first person to put penitentiary material on TV from my baby daddy being in jail and just from me doing some time or whatever. So I talk about that. And this was in 1997. It was unheard of. But, the brothers from the pen, they get out and they thank me for always keeping them in mind and always shouting them out. I met Mac Dre, who was a rapper who got killed. I met him when we used to do prison shows and stuff like that. So I have so many favorites.
I really appreciate that too when you were talking about just what it's like being a woman, because growing up in Dallas, I grew up in a really Christian household, and I say all the time on this show that I wasn't even allowed to watch Comic View, so I would have to sneak and watch it sometimes. My parents, weren't around or whatever, and just I didn't know that women could be that way. Seeing women curse, and I'm like, oh my God, I really appreciate that too. And
that Comic View was the clean version of it. You should have been watching Def Jam.
Oh my God. Yeah. So well, I don't think my parents had HBO, whichever one it came on. Showtime. I couldn't always watch it. So I had to start at Comic View. But like I said, I've always appreciated that. Growing up, were y'all able to, get into female comics, or were you kind of sheltered from that?
I feel like I felt like I was always drawn to comedy. But I was always drawn to performance. I only started doing comedy when I moved to Los Angeles. And part of that was because I was used to I'm an equity actor. I was used to doing 3 shows a year when I was in Chicago. And, I'd hear they don't want to pay you to do theater. And my years of free theater are behind me. So I was like, well, what am I going to do? And I thought maybe comedy, but I wasn't sure. And I was like, I don't know. And then I took a writing class because I wanted to know, okay, what's joke structure? I know what I think is funny, but what does a premise look like? What does a setup look like? What does a punchline? Like that kind of stuff. I'm really good at school. So if you give me a structure to follow, I can make something work. So I took the class and I started writing jokes, but I still wasn't sure that was what I wanted to do. But the people, when I watched television when I was a kid, I was always drawn to sitcoms. I was watching The Facts of Life. I wanted to be Tootie. You know what I mean? Like that kind, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I loved a good sitcom. I loved, and then I was always drawn to Carol Burnett was hysterically funny, and she could take a bit and just
milk it.
I just saw a thing they did the 30th anniversary of that thing she did where she wore the curtain when it was off of Gone with the Wind, and she was wearing literally there was a curtain rod on her back. It was ridiculous. Yeah. But to see her be a woman and to do a show that was so successful and it was all based on her, that was mind blowing. Yeah. It was amazing, and she was so good at it, and so many funny people. And it was one of those things that I would look around and see. Okay, if I want to be in this business, because that's how long. Since I was been performing since I was 4 years old. Yeah. So I was if I want to be in this business, where do I see myself? Where do I fit? And I've always found myself following people's careers. I followed Robert Guillaume's career from Soap to Benson to the first black man to do Phantom of the Opera. I followed his career. So I was okay, this is where he started and this is where he ended up. You know what I mean? And I knew that if you get to a certain point where you're just so good at what you do and people value that, you can do whatever you want. And that is what has always stuck with me. I was okay, so if you're really good at what you do, and you can get to a point where people will hire you to do the thing that they love to see you do. You can also do other things that maybe they don't want to see you do, but they're oh, well, they're good at that. They'll probably be good at that. You know what I mean? Yeah. That kind of stuff.
What about you? Were you able to watch some female comedians growing up, or did they shelter you from that?
Oh, no, my mother worked all the time. Yeah. So, we just practically raised ourselves and everything. She just made sure we had food and she went to work. Yeah. And I ain't mad at her about that or whatever. She did what she had to do. She's a young mother with 2 kids. She had to do what she had to do to take care of us and stuff. So, I'm still not a big TV watcher. I probably, that's so crazy, I know, but I have a lot of oxymorons in my life. I'm a comedian, but I'm a loner. I love people, but I don't want to be bothered.
But I feel like that's a standard thing with comedians.
Especially
when you're on, you're on, but when you're not, can I need a minute.
I'm in the house.
I don't want to be bothered. I'm a horrible celebrity, not meaning I'm mean or anything, but I don't really like taking pictures and all of those things. I just want to do my work and go home and get my money and this and that, doing the interviews and all the taking the picture. It's just not who I am. Whatever. I'm like, Pac, fuck the fame. I need the money. Okay. And so that's just where I'm at with it and everything. But so, but I always knew I wanted to be in the business since I was 5. But I didn't discover stand-up until 1986. I had my son and I was home with him, and I saw Whoopi Goldberg's one-woman show. She did the 5 characters. That
it was life-changing.
That did it for me. Even though I Carol Burnett and I went to see Joan Rivers was one of my first
go watch that tonight.
Female comedian I saw live at Carlos and Charlie's in Hollywood years and years and years ago. And then, and of course Lucille Ball, and shout out to Kim Wayans because she just did it for me. All those characters on in Living Color, and what I loved about her, she was not afraid to be to be. She wasn't afraid to be grimy, dirty. She wasn't too prissy to do it. She just did, and I love that about her. And I hear she's a great spirited person and stuff. So yeah, I mean, those are the things I used to watch. But Whoopi did it for me.
I'm so glad she brought up Whoopi because that special was just. It was so good, and it was so. I had never seen anybody do anything like that before. Anybody do, and because of that, she got to do all of these amazing things. And that's when I was like, if you can stand on stage and stand in your power by yourself and do a show and compel people to watch you for an hour or an hour and a half, that's a gift.
It is. It
and
really is.
and it's what propelled her from being a stand-up to being an actor to being the star of a musical to being, you know what I mean, to being a movie star, all that stuff. There you go. There you go.
Hello. I love that. But like you were saying, though, we do have more female representation, like we were just speaking about earlier. But I feel that men in comedy are kind of having a crisis right now with the whole, they feel like there's a witch hunt, or they feel like they can't say certain things. But I do want to know from y'all's perspective, what do you think that men need to do in order to support more women in comedy? Like, what would your advice be?
Put some of them on shows.
Book women on shows. Book women on shows.
Just
and
do
people
it.
do it. Like, it's not hard. It's not hard.
You'll see you'll see all men. I'm like, you
there's no reason. There's no reason for that. There's no reason.
The audience is 90% women. We need our voice being heard. But if you see 3 females on a show, now it's an all-female show. Why is that? You don't say that it's an all-male show with male. So those double standards and stuff, and it's still happening.
No, those things irritate me, especially when there's like a movie screening or a panel or something, and men always want to have the conversation about more, female representation. It's like, but then, just do it.
But my thing is, my favorite is when they want to have a conversation and it's all men. It's like, well, your first problem is that there's nobody who's... This panel is a problem.
There's one woman.
There you go. There you go.
No, let's start with being at the comedy club. And y'all ready for a female? What the fuck is that?
Who says that? That is ridiculous.
Who's ready? You ready for a woman?
Actually,
you
let's switch this shit up.
Ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
You know what? I'm just a comic.
Yeah.
Why do you have to?
Me like that?
Why do you have to introduce me like that? Y'all ready for? It's a woman and she gonna be talking that shit. How do you know what I'm going to be talking about?
You don't know what I'm going to talk about.
You just assume that all of us are, she going to talk about her vagina. Really, dude? Wow.
Okay. Yeah, it's one of those. It doesn't feel hard to me. Women do it all. Like all the shows I do with women, it's either a show that is half women, half men, or it's a show that has women, it has people who are non-binary, it has people who are Latino, people who are Japanese, people who are Chinese, people who are like. And that's what I think is great. So do they say,
y'all ready for a Mexican?
They don't. That's not what happens.
No.
So it's always interesting to me when that, because I host a lot, and never at any point have I said something like that. Because
y'all ready for a male?
I would never say that.
I
ask every single person, what do you want me to say about you?
Exactly.
What do you want me to say?
It requires them to be more thoughtful, and they don't want to put forth that effort.
They don't want to be thoughtful. They don't want to be thoughtful
about us.
It's
just like men dating and stuff.
Hashtag not all men. Hashtag not all men.
Whatever.
Hashtag not all men.
We don't got to make that disclaimer.
Yes, you do, because they feel attacked. They always feel attacked.
If you don't do it, then you shouldn't feel attacked, honestly.
Her dog will holler.
Yeah. Yes, they will.
Or whatever.
Or whatever.
No, we don't care what they think.
No, for sure. But no, thanks for sharing with me, because I really get irritated about that. It's like, I'm just at the point now where I'm like, I'm done with the conversations. At some point, I've been studying more Black women directors lately. I was on set recently. I can't say where, but it was so Black at the top, and I just loved it. But I also know that they are friends. They work across the board. They work horizontally. They bring their people up, and I think that's what I really appreciate. Not to say that men don't do that too, because men, they hire their other male friends all the time. But oh my God! But I think women also think more of diversity. There's more of like diversity in women, and like you were saying, in queer people.
I don't think so.
What?
I don't think so. so I get more work from male comics. I can count on my hand in my whole 30-year career how many women have ever called me and gave me any work.
I'm not getting a lot of work from female comics, and not in comedy. No,
that has been my experience. Like the reason that's been my experience. That's just been my experience.
Okay.
The reason I got to do Dynasty Typewriter is because Jackie Cation. I sent her an email because I heard that somebody had dropped out of the show, and I said, if you need somebody to do it, I'll do it. Mm-hmm. And she didn't even, when she wrote me back, she had copied the people at Dynasty Typewriter and said Wynter's going to do it. Okay. So I've been really fortunate in that
you have.
Women have been really, they've been in it for me.
I will say this. I'm going to say, is she black or white?
She's white.
White women will. Black women won't.
I don't know if black women all have as much of the resources and opportunity to pull that white women have in this industry as well, though.
No, there's a lot of black female comedians doing shows.
Right, but I have had that same experience with black women. I have black women friends who do shows, and they've put me on their shows. Mm-hmm. So I have been, but I've gone. But and I think that a lot of it has to do with who you surround yourself with. I think that's been my experience. Mm-hmm. So I've tried my best to surround myself with people who are
Flappers.
amazing.
I want to come to Flappers.
Okay, it's not. But again, I don't book the show. Mm-hmm. I don't book the show. I just people always want me to be like, I can absolutely.
You don't need to put. I know Barbara.
Because I was like, you probably know. I've known Barbara longer than me. I was like, you've known Barbara longer than me. I'm sure
clowning you.
Put me on, Wynter.
Yeah, put me in.
But you know what's funny? People always think because I host that show every Tuesday night that I book that show.
That's the booking manager.
Like, no, I don't book that show.
I'm not booking department.
Because when people come, because sometimes people who have names, who work all over town, come and they want to do a set. I'm like, I would be happy for you to do a set. You need to go talk to the manager who's on tonight, because I can't just say, you can do a set. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But they're not going to turn down Kevin Hart. They're not going to turn down Jack Knight. They're not going to turn down Whitney Cummings or Rami Youssef. They're not going to turn them down because they work there all the time. Sure. So, but I can't be the one to say, sure, you can do a set. Mm-hmm. I have to be like, go talk to the manager who's I'm sure they will put you on.
Mm-hmm. And y'all's experience, what is the pay range gap as far as in stand-up comedy for as much as what men are paid versus what women are paid?
Well, let me say that I have not been paid a lot on any occasion when I have been in stand-up, so I'm not there yet. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I can't speak intelligently to that at all. Mm.
It's huge, and it's also huge between black and white comedians and stuff. Like now the white comedy clubs are now having black comedians come in that 5 or 10 years ago they wouldn't have had that all. If you look at Funny Bone and Improv and all that, you go to their calendar, it's three weekends with black comedians, maybe one with white comedians or whatever, because the white comedians aren't bringing in the money like they packing the houses anymore. And so in order for them to stay open, they have to bring us in. They have to bring in black comedians and stuff. Lunell and I tour together, and we play places like Crackers and all this stuff. And it's like,
Crackers?
Where's Crackers?
Yeah, Crackers. It's in Indianapolis, I think. But it's like, we'll be on stage.
Okay.
We'll be on stage and be like, 5 years ago, y'all would not have two big black women on stage talking about their pussy all night or whatever. No. We know what's going on, especially at a club called Crackers, and even with some of the other comedians who have called around years ago. And one comedian was calling, and the guy was like, "But you're black." And he was like, "Well, we don't want your kind in our club."
Wow.
Get a lot of that. But now, in order for them to stay open, they need our kind in their clubs because we drink more Patron and Ciroc and vodka and Hennessy. We buy more chicken wings and food than any other people and everything. And just black comedy is where it's at right now. It's just what's happening.
And money is money. And
I think black comedy has always been where it's at.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They love our slang. They love our jokes. I mean, and we've always been it.
Absolutely. Without question.
Okay. So I've always just been wondering, like, what is it that I'm missing? Because I feel like whenever I'm performing around, like even just with me being the new person, I'm new, I'm young, I'm black, I'm like, I know these white male comedians are actually getting paid.
Mm-hmm. No, they're not. They're just they're more disgruntled.
The thing is that if you have a name,
because one thing, LA is not going to pay you.
LA is not paying.
LA does not pay.
That's why I stay on the road.
Everybody I know who makes money in comedy, they only come here to work out.
Yeah,
when they're working, no, seriously, when they're working, they're on the road.
Yeah.
Everybody I know who's a comedian, they are on the road 30, 40, 50, sometimes 50 weeks a year. And they're flying 2, 3, 4 times a week.
Hell yeah.
That's every comedian I know who has been in the game, who is making money.
That's true.
They are on the road doing comedy.
Absolutely.
On the road.
And why is it that white folks or white men aren't selling it? They're not packing out the comedy houses
Because
anymore?
there's no TV outlet for them to be seen on to sell out venues. And then a lot of them, as they got bigger, they went out of the clubs and start going into the venues like the Jeff Foxworthy and the, Larry the Cable Guy or Dane Cook. All of those guys start going into the big arenas because why should I do 10 shows at this club when I could do one at the arena and go home
And make all the money. And make all the money.
Home and stuff. And so that's been the reason why a lot of times.
And Jim Gaffigan has been touring since, I think I read something, he's been touring since 2012.
I like Jim Gaffigan.
And he's so funny. He's been touring since 2012, and he's been touring literally all the time.
I didn't know
Last
that.
year, he made $30 million. He was in the top 5 of comedians who made money last year, $30 million. And he did one special with Netflix. They didn't give him the kind of money he thought he deserved. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to do my special, and I'm going to do it with somebody else. And the initial payout is going to be not as great, but the money's going to be better. And that's what ended up happening. He did, I want to say he did it with, I don't want to say that he did it with All Things Comedy. Maybe not.
Okay.
Maybe it was someone else. It might have been Comedy Dynamics. But when he put out his last special, he didn't put it out with a big company. And what ultimately ended up happening was he didn't get paid as much on the front, but on the back end, I think he said he made $10 million. That's what I read in Forbes. So I was like, oh, okay, so that's not the only way. So that led me to believe that's not the only way to do it. It doesn't have to be.
It isn't. So
but the thing is that
get another fight, Mo. Get another fight.
Oh.
and we're bringing it back. We're bringing it back around.
right
Bringing
back
it back
around.
around.
You're
Back
big enough
around.
to do
Back
it on
around.
your own. You don't need them. Create your own YouTube channel and send people that's what what's his name did, the one that does that just got the comedian that Louis C.K.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, what do I need Walmart or any of those companies to put my CD out or whatever? I'm going to take the price down. I'm going to offer it on my own channel or my own website. You can download it for $10 or $19. As opposed to going somewhere and having to split the money or doing a percentage with them. He just did it on his own and made all the money.
Right. But he had to do that. But it's true.
Also,
he had
that
to do
nigga
it.
had literally no choice.
That scandal hadn't come out by that time.
Well,
maybe that's a different one,
right?
Because he does it all the time. But that hadn't happened by then.
But the thing is that he's at this point he's made all the money. Like it doesn't at this point he's had enough on television, whatever. He could go away today, and God knows a lot of us wish he would, and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah,
because
I think
he's
also
still
learning to lean into yourself, though. I think that also comes with just knowing business and being business minded.
And that's what I admire about Jim Gaffigan.
A lot of
Jim Gaffigan
comedians
went to
are
school
not business minded.
And I was like, ding, ding. He got his degree in business. That's why I was like, oh, ding, ding. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah,
so when he looks at the money, he's like, okay, profit loss. What are we doing? Okay, what can I do to make this better? And he's also, got 5 kids to send to college. That's expensive.
So
That's
you better hustle. Hello.
That's expensive.
I got all
That's
these goddamn
expensive.
kids. You see these fucking kids.
How's he got all them kids? He on the road that many days of the week.
They go with him in the summer, apparently. Like it's a
whole family affair.
a whole thing. Yeah, and his wife writes a lot of his stuff for him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
so
there, it's a family
Does
thing.
she really?
She produces a lot of his stuff too. Yes,
She writes his
yes.
stuff for him.
She writes
I would've
some.
never known
She
that.
writes some stuff and she produces. It's a family thing that they're doing.
Got it.
Absolutely. Everybody is in the mix. Everybody's
makes
in the
so
mix.
much sense.
They like Jada. Jada said everybody got to work over here.
Okay.
Everybody need to get a
That's
check if
the
the
thing.
dog
That's
can work.
the
The
thing.
dog
Right,
will work.
exactly.
Okay.
But that's the
Everybody,
thing.
Jaden, Willow,
But they have
Mark,
built.
y'all all need to get.
They have built an empire.
They
And
really
also,
have.
They
That's
really
Everybody
have.
works.
They really have.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome. I love that.
Did it take you all a long time to learn the business of comedy specifically?
I feel like I feel like I'm
It's never ending.
No,
but-
I feel like I feel like I spend all of my time trying to figure out, okay, how do we monetize what this is?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like I feel like
yes.
that's what I'm constantly in the midst of, and I still feel like I'm so new that I'm still sort
I feel
of
like a
figuring
lot
it
of
out.
young comedians, just like a lot of young singers and artists, just musicians, I feel like they're always told, well, just stick with your craft, just keep writing, keep working. And it's like, at what point do they think about, how am I going to make money off of this?
But that's why a lot of people
the thing is that being funny is not enough anymore.
Right. No, it's not.
And that's why you guys need to come to my Comics Rock convention, April of next year. April of next year, I have taken 30 years of what I've learned in this business and did not learn, and put it in workshops and seminars to help comedians to win. There are so many gifts inside of us that stand-up is just not enough. You have other gifts. You might be a radio person. You might be a punch-up person. That's a $5,000 a week job in Hollywood. You might be a warm-up. You might do voiceovers.
That's the thing. That's my question. Is like things like warm-up. I never see anybody advertising for a warm-up job. How do you get that job? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I know one black woman who's had that job.
Yeah,
one.
I don't know what it's
and you probably know who she is too. She's the only one I know who's ever had that job.
I have another girlfriend who's doing it now and stuff. It is a circuit that you need to get on,
right?
But you don't know that you can do it until you do it,
right?
And that's one thing with my comicsrockconvention.com. Registration is open now, and basically, what it does is that it gives you an aha moment where you see, you know what? I never thought that I could punch up a script and make money. I never thought about going into voiceovers. When I got a radio job in Dallas, I didn't know I could do radio until I got the job. And I was like, damn, I'm born to do radio, whatever. So it's like, you have to stir up all these other gifts inside of you. If you sing, if you juggle, if you pull a rabbit out your ass, you need to put all that on stage or whatever and stuff. And come to the comicsrockconvention.com.
Yeah.
And you get to showcase and everything. And the beautiful thing about the convention is taught by other comedians. Shane teaches a class on how to get your social media up. He's a social media guru at this thing. And, I have Sean Michael Howard who comes. There's so many people who come. Rodney Perry comes and teaches improv. I have Dwayne Colbert of Second City who teaches at Second City. He comes. And so I have a plethora.
I know Dwayne Colbert.
We grew up together.
I know Dwayne and I did, when I did the LA Diversity and Comedy Festival. Dwayne was the one who sort of looped me into that, and I actually taught a class on hosting that.
Great.
That's so cool. I love Second City too.
Yeah. So comicsrockconvention.com. Third plug.
I can't. Is there a specific body of work that you want people to check out right now? What is some stuff that you're proud of? You definitely want us to look at.
I don't want to. You may want to plug something else. So.
No. Anything right.
Fourth plug.
I know y'all like my lips. This is my lip glitter line. I have so many businesses and stuff.
Gotcha.
I'm just my comedy convention, my cannabis business, highhopes.biz. But look at my thing. I just did Comedy Hype. It's a whole. I did an hour and a half, and then they chopped it up into like every day a 5 to 10 minute segment of different things. So it starts off with me and my relationship with Jamie Foxx, and then it goes to me having my pity party, and then the next one is about me and my friendship with DL, and then the last one is about me and Monique and everything. So they chop it up into different things. This is really great, and it's got me a lot of traction, a lot of attention and everything. So I'm doing Vlad TV next week, and so I'm just on the circuit.
Okay, out there.
And you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to. But the reason that when they said Hope Flood, I was like, why do I know her name? And then I looked on the internet. I was like, oh my gosh, you did that plea on, and I was like, oh my God, this is so raw. I was like, I feel like that's how every comedian feels at one point or another when I was like, I need somebody to pick me. You know what I mean? It's
let our viewers know.
It's a video, and you can tell. I don't remember where I saw it, but I remember seeing it.
It was on Comedy Hype.
Okay.
And everything, and I just did an interview, and at that moment, because people have mixed views on it and stuff. A lot of people are like, oh, you shouldn't have done that, or they shouldn't have shown that, but that's me. Nobody sees me in that light because I never act like I need anything. And
right.
I'm always, I'm a boss bitch. I'm always doing what I got to do and everything. And at that moment, I just felt like I needed to let people know I was transparent and I was vulnerable. And I just needed people to know that I'm here and I've been here a long time. And everybody that I was went ahead of me because I took myself out the business to finish raising my son and a radio job and things like that. And I was just tired of being on the road. I was just tired of the mail. I was just tired of the promoters. I was just tired of everything that had to do with being on the road and not getting paid a lot of times, or fighting for your money and living out suitcases and just missing graduations and proms and just missing shit, whatever that I know I can't never get back. The beautiful thing about comedy stand-up comedy is ageless. You never age out of this. You know, George Burns told jokes to the day he died. Phyllis Diller didn't even start her career till she was 52. Rodney Dangerfield didn't start his until he was 52 or whatever. And so you never age out of comedy. So I knew I could get in and get back out. But 1 year out of L.A. is like 7 years. And I was gone 7 years. So it was a long time. And I know that to be so. But I just felt like I need all of the people that I did something for. And not that they owe me anything. But Kevin Spacey said something really, really cute. And I'm not going to take up more time. He says, when you go up the elevator, just send it back down. Just send it back down sometime. You know, and I'm like James Brown. You just show me to the door, I can open it myself. But everybody blocks, and everybody, when you call people, and these are people who you've helped, people that you've helped in their time of need, not when they were famous, but when they didn't have shit. They have slept on my couches. They have driven my car. They have ran up my phone bills. They have. Take it. And it's like, come on. You see I ain't eating. You see I'm not in your circle. You see I'm not doing what you do, so I must need something. Or if not, reach out to me. Let me say no. And so it was at that moment, and I was in a moment where I just felt like I need somebody to pick me. I just really need somebody.
First, let me say I appreciated that. I thought it was very brave. I thought it was very brave, and it's one of those things that I feel like people. There's so much. I feel like people don't. People think that if you're in comedy that you're hard, that you're like all this, that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's this idea.
You can take anything.
There's this idea that you can take anything.
Yeah.
And there's this idea that people should be able to say anything to you or what, you know what I mean? And I don't, and I've never subscribed to that. I've never, and what I think is great is that so many people that are doing comedy now also don't subscribe to that. And it's sort of a different voice out there, which is what I appreciate, because I'm always more apt to make fun of myself or to make fun of situations as opposed to people, because I'm just not, I feel like that's not interesting. I feel like, it's like, you can take a moment to knock somebody down who's famous, who's having a hard time. But I was like, the way the comedy was always presented to me was the comedy is always supposed to be about taking down the power structure. It's about taking down power. And if you're taking down a person who's in a situation where they're powerless, that's not funny. That's just, to me, that's not funny. That's just
or saying things that people want to say but cannot say.
Right. Exactly. Or feel they can't because they feel they're restricted.
Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
And that's our job. And so when they started censoring, like when they did with Tracy Morgan, he said, if my son was gay. He didn't say this or that or gay. He said, if my son, he has a right to say that about his son if he wants to. And then the gays went all up in array and everything, and they had to do all this community service and stuff. It was crazy. But I love how Dave Chappelle did it. He did it so brilliantly, in his last special and everything. So I think we're done.
Yeah, we do.
Is that our time?
I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. What? Okay. I guess. All right, so we got
okay, so you can check me. I know. I just want to say you can check me out on. I just want to say you can check me out on at Wynter Spears. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. It's Wynter with a Y, Spears like Britney. And I will be actually doing the League of Comedy show on December 3rd at On the 30 in Sherman Oaks.
Okay. And where can we find you?
I'm going home right now. I'm getting in bed, and y'all know where I live. You can come around there. I'll be at the show on at Sal's on Thursday night. I love Sal. I love Sal. Have you ever met Sal?
I have not.
I've met him.
Oh, he's beautiful. He's like this dark Greek with these olive eyes, and
he's a handsome man.
He's a beautiful, beautiful Greek man, and they have the best pizza in town.
The pizza is amazing.
Only for foodies. Only for people who are foodies.
Go ahead.
You're a foodie and stuff, and the staff is amazing. So I'll be over there, and let's see. I'll be in New York. I'm going to New York. I'm doing Dangerfields for the first time.
Nice, congratulations!
Thank you. One of the longest running comedy clubs in New York. So I'm excited about that.
Nice.
Yonkers Comedy Club, and I'll just be around New York. It's gonna be cold. I gotta go get my faux mink, and things
I just want to say thanks y'all so much for coming here. Please come back anytime too. This is amazing. We've been interviewing a lot of guys, and they're great and everything, but I love when we can finally get some women up in here and we can talk our shit and talk about what we've been through.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And
remind people that we are fucking human, okay?
And funny.
Yes,
and we're
funny as shit.
Very funny.
We're
welcome. Super funny.
Anyway, so just a reminder again, it's the Comedic Mines live comedy show this Thursday at 7:30. You guys, don't be late 7:30, Sal's Comedy Hall on Melrose. $10 tickets can be purchased on Eventbrite or at the door. Who's Next competitors will be hitting the stage for the last time, and our celebrity judge, Hope Flood, and audience will be deciding who gets the $500 cash prize, okay? So our headline is going to be Boogie B, feature performer George K. Burns, and you don't want to miss this. So I'm going to turn this over to you all so y'all can wrap this up and send us out. Give us a nice little send out and hit it.
Thank y'all for allowing me to be here. Y'all can hit me up at hope.flood or Hope Flood on Facebook and tagged in plenty of
It's the Comedic Minds live coverage podcast. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Bye.
Crucial conversations. Comedic Minds. Put them both together and what do you get? The most productive and impactful smack talking session ever. Now let's put our minds together.